Alright, it's been a while. Quiet. Now, why did I not make the other 3 parts videos of this quiet book? Because I lost the book. And you know where I found it? My cat stole it. How dare you, Claude? And so, in retaliation, I read the whole book, and I smacked him with it. Just kidding. I don't encourage animal abuse. And here we go. Quiet Part 2, the long-awaited sequel from which a lot of people can do things. Alright, so part 2 is called Your Biology Yourself. So this part actually goes ahead and discusses whether it is your fault that you're like this, or whether it is like how you do things that make you like this. So that's about it. And yeah. So let's start off with how destiny seems to work out here. So apparently a lot of people actually think your destiny is set in stone, like your nature, your genetics, everything, your parents' heritage, those kinds of things. And sometimes this actually works out pretty well. I mean, look at this. Am I an extrovert? Maybe. I mean, I've been camping, and definitely Claude the cat is not an extrovert. So yeah, here we go. But I don't actually necessarily believe that genetics is a whole part of your deal. So here's the thing. Like, nature, nurture, and orchard hypotheses, these are all great, but they're just not really effective ways of learning something. In fact, I don't believe your parents should affect what you do. Although they should help you mold who you become, I don't think they should affect your whole decision. If your parent just tries to go ahead and say, do this or I will kick you out of the house, then, well, I don't think you should be living there. Alright, of course, then we also have the rule of free will. So apparently there are a bunch of people in Seeker who go ahead and are introverts, and a bunch of speakers, are public speakers, are actually great introverts. I mean, when I started off public speaking, this guy was an introvert, and he actually loved public speaking because that was the only time he could actually feel things his way. Yes, I still do speeches, but yeah, I mainly do it behind the camera nowadays, so that's about it. And then we also get to learn a bunch about other people too, like temperaments, destinies, these roles of free will, those kinds of things. And to be honest, I think that this is all a good point. This Susan Cain, the great point of doing things her way. She herself is an introvert, so we get to actually know introverts and extroverts from an introvert perspective view. Also, this is mainly a cultural look at it, so of course, people will just go ahead and see her as a person who just goes ahead and does things. All the stories she tells, like including these, apparently Franklin Roosevelt, Roosevelt goes ahead and shows a lot of things too. They're all extroverts too, but basically introverts are good too. It's not commonly known if talking too much or talking too less is actually good, which we will talk in our next part. But there's a lot of things to do here. Now, also, this last chapter here is called Why Did Wall Street Crash and Warren Buffett Prosper? So they just go ahead and do their own things. Warren Buffett himself prospered because he's just pretty good at trade, sure, and stocks. However, he just goes ahead and does everything that happened too. He's also pretty extrovert, and he's also pretty good at talking to others. And he's really good at getting information, which is the pretty biggest thing that anyone can do. I mean, you could just go ahead and ask Siri about things like, hey Siri, how much CNY is $5?
$5 is 36 Chinese yuan and 16 fen.
See? You can just go ahead and do all this. Also, hey Siri, thank you for telling me this.
No problem.
Also pretty good at conversations too if they were integrated with ChatGPT, but unfortunately ChatGPT, at least the ChatGPT 4, requires payment, which my dad thankfully did because he's using it for his work. Yay, thank you, Dad. But what is the point of this part 2? The point of this part is just to show that maybe your genetics does affect who you are and affect how you do things. However, they don't really affect how things actually go ahead and do things. Now, what did you think I say? The thing here is that people are just going to go ahead and do their own things of their own lives, genetics regardless or not. If you're a Bene Gesserit, then it will be a pretty different story, but unfortunately, Bene Gesserits don't exist. Also, I'm a male, so I don't care. And also, I'm not Paul Atreides. So what's the point? What am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say here is, read the quiet book. Second of all, is that it doesn't matter who you are, who your parents are, it's you who mold yourself. Also, yes, sometimes genetics do involve in this. However, they're just chances. It doesn't mean that you really are going with that person. Anyway, we're humans. Who are, as my friend calls it, very smart monkeys. And also we're technically bananas. So I hope to see you guys soon. Until next time, now, peace, bye bye, wear a helmet.